Look, if you clicked on this video, it's probably because you have big goals. And while you desperately want to be able to work productively every single day, go to bed satisfied, proud of yourself, and wake up hungry for more, ready to conquer the day, for some reason, you just find yourself stuck. I'm here to tell you the truth. And the truth is, it's not your fault if you struggle to get to work and if you can't stay consistent. A lot of people wonder why they're not successful. But if you just take a quick look at the world around you, you'll realize that everything has been designed to keep you exactly where you are. Let me ask you a question. What's the first thing most people do right after they wake up? They grab their phone to turn off their alarm, but before their body and mind is even fully awake, they find themselves mindlessly scrolling on TikTok or on Instagram. And before they realize it, they've just wasted 30 minutes, and now they need to hurry up if they don't want to be late for school or for work. And then, when they're supposed to be actually working, getting stuff done, they've got their phone next to their computer constantly bombarding them with notifications. They've got these email notifications popping up on their desktop. No wonder why they can't get anything done. You see, to become successful in life, you need to follow what I refer to as the success equation, which goes as follows. Success equals hard work, doing the right thing, and timing. But the issue is that's impossible to achieve when you can't focus. And everything around you has been carefully designed to rob you of your ability to focus, which in turn also robs you of your ability to become successful. My goal with this video is to give you a step-by-step action plan so that you can take back control over your life and start getting shit done. And know that everything I'm going to share with you, I have personally tried, tested, and I still implement to this day. In fact, it's these same things that allowed me to go from being a broke, depressed, anxious kid who couldn't get anything done to building a profitable business and working 8, 10, 12-hour days with no days off for weeks on end. Now, I'm sure you've come across these videos on YouTube where a guy or a girl is doing a 24-hour dopamine detox. So for 24 hours, they're gonna do nothing. They're literally just gonna sit there in an empty room and literally just exist. And while doing this might be helpful for a few people because they're very addicted to instant gratification, to social media, to video games, that's all they do for 14 hours a day, every single day, then yeah, fair enough. These people, they might benefit from a hard stop, a hard reset. But for most people, I don't actually recommend this approach because you've got to understand that your brain absolutely hates boredom. And when I say that the brain hates boredom, studies have literally been done and have showed that people prefer to self-administrate electric shocks instead of just doing nothing. That's just how much the brain hates boredom. If you take a look at nature, it hates empty space. If you leave a building unattended for like 10, 20, 30 years, you'll start to see leaves all over it, insects will come in, nature will reclaim its rights. So boredom is good because if you're constantly hyper-stimulated, you won't be able to focus on doing the difficult things that you need to do to reach your goals. But boredom is only good to a certain extent. Because if you say, oh, you know what, tomorrow I'm gonna do a full dopamine detox, I'm just gonna sit there in my room, do nothing, no TV, no social media, no reading, no music, no working out. Guess what is gonna happen? Even if you've deleted TikTok, Instagram off your phone, it's gonna be very easy to go and to open up that drawer, grab your phone, power it on, and reinstall the apps again. But that's the thing, you could only stick to it for 3 hours, now you're back to scrolling on TikTok. Instead, I recommend that you follow a different approach to the dopamine detox. We're not gonna have you do nothing for a whole 24 hours. For 99.9% of people, it's a terrible idea, myself included. I've never done a hardcore dopamine reset like some people do, where you do nothing for 24 hours, but I have still been able to transform myself from not being able to get anything done, not being able to work at all, to working 10, 12-hour days for weeks on end with no days off. So you don't need to do nothing for 24 hours and do a hard reset like that. No, you see, instead, what we are going to do is to be smarter than our own physiology and use boredom to our advantage. Now, for this to work, you need to understand that the shorter the time frame, the harder the intensity. Let's say somebody needs to lose 20 pounds. They could decide to lose those 20 pounds in a month or in a year. If they decide to go for the longer approach, they can afford to be less drastic. However, if they wanted to lose the weight faster, so within just, let's say, a month, they would need to be way more drastic in their approach. It's the same thing if you needed to complete an important work project. If you have 3 weeks to do it, you might not really rush into it. This concept is also known as Parkinson's law, which states that work expands so as to fill the time allotted for its completion. If you say, oh, you know what, I have time, it's gonna take me a week to get this done, it's gonna take you a week. And that's why you see plenty of hyper-successful entrepreneurs, billionaires, they tell their teams, you think it's gonna take 6 months? No, get it done in 2 weeks. Because oftentimes we waste more time than is actually necessary. We could get things done faster. In fact, billionaire Peter Thiel said that you should achieve in 6 months your 10-year vision. Now, obviously in 6 months, you won't be able to get as much stuff done as you could in 10 years. And in fact, a lot of people, they underestimate what they can do in 10 years and they way overestimate what they can do in 6 months. But thinking like this, thinking, you know what, I'm gonna make my 10-year goals come true within the next 6 months. You might not end up reaching the targets. However, it will force you to be more efficient. You won't waste any time. You'll cut out all of the fluff and only focus on the essentials. And the reason why this is relevant for the dopamine detox is because since your time is limited, the goal is to align everything that you do on a daily basis with reaching your goals. When you do this will give you an insane edge over the competition and automatically put you in the top 1%. Because the more committed you are, the better the results that you'll get and the faster that you'll get them. So the goal of the dopamine detox is to remove all of the things that don't serve you, that drain you, that don't help you to directly achieve your goals, and instead replace them with the difficult activities that you need to do to make your dreams come true. When you do this, your brain will start to crave doing difficult things because that's all it knows. At some point, I had someone tell me, I don't know how you work out every single day, but it's like for me, it's not even difficult to do it anymore because I've been doing it for years. So now, if anything, if I don't work out, I feel like shit. Whereas a beginner, they've never worked out a day in their lives. Well, yeah, of course, if they try to exercise every single day, it's gonna be very difficult because they're not used to it. It's not a part of who they are. So at first, it's gonna be difficult, challenging. But that is why when you remove all distractions, doing the work just becomes fun and enjoyable at some point. Because remember, your brain would much rather have you self-administrate electric shocks as opposed to just sitting there and doing nothing, being bored. So if your brain has to choose between working, going to the gym, and doing nothing, guess what it's gonna choose? However, if your brain has to choose between playing video games or going to the gym, what is it gonna choose? Just take a look at what most people do. There's far more gamers than actual athletes. So that goes to tell you something. Now, when you do this, you will be shocked at what happens within 3 to 6 months. That's all it takes to change your life. Now, the first rule of the dopamine detox is that you need to set clear, tangible goals. The reason why this is number 1 on the list is because if you don't have a clear, a strong reason why you're gonna be doing this, cutting out all the distractions, it's never gonna work. You'll delete all the social media apps from your phone, you'll block out all the video games, all the dirty websites, but then you're gonna last 2 days at best. You'll go right back to square one, right back into a hyper-stimulating world. The reason being, you don't have a strong enough reason why you're doing it. Because I'm gonna be completely honest with you, it's not gonna be easy. But if you want to access the best things that this world has to offer, build something which is of value, build a true legacy, it's not gonna be easy. It's not meant to be easy. If it were, it would be completely worthless. The reason why a Ferrari is so expensive is because it's rare. You don't see them every day in the streets unless you live maybe in Dubai. So before you go on to begin a dopamine detox, I highly recommend that you at least ask yourself, why am I doing this? For me, the reason why I started a business, why I work so hard every single day, is because I wanted to build a better life for myself and for the people that I love than the cookie cutter path that society says we should all follow. For me, going to university, getting massively in debt, living half of a life, it wasn't good enough. I wasn't gonna settle for anything less than what I wanted. Now, the next rule of the dopamine detox is to delete all social media apps from your phone. The only time you should use a social media app is for business. If you want to speak to someone, you don't need to use Snapchat. You can simply send messages or use WhatsApp. You've got to realize that social media platforms make money by selling your attention to advertisers. So the second that you open up the app, guess what? Everything is designed to waste as much of your time as possible. And you might think, oh, I'm in control, I choose what I see, I'm not gonna scroll for 10 minutes. But most likely, if you go into the settings of your phone, you will see the amount of time that you spend on social media every single day, mindlessly scrolling, mindlessly consuming other people's content is mind-blowing. And even if you're gonna use social media apps for your business, most of the time you can simply use the desktop version instead. Now, along with that, you wanna put your phone on airplane mode. For the longest time, my family and the people I knew, they would make fun of me for doing this because I understood that's what it took. I wasn't gonna allow other people to distract me, to rob me of my focus, of my ability to get stuff done and to become successful. And sure, when you do this, it might piss off a couple people, but honestly, if they try to make you feel bad for it, for not answering their texts immediately, you should probably cut these people loose anyway, because chances are they're not actually your friends. Good friends might not be doing the same thing as you. They might not be entrepreneurs themselves, but they will respect your decisions. If you're trying to build something big, they will understand it. If you need some time alone to work, they'll leave you alone. But if you want to be broke forever, surround yourself with people who make you feel bad for working, for putting your phone on airplane mode. You'll be broke forever, I can guarantee it. Now, the third rule of the dopamine detox is to stop playing video games. Not only are you wasting your time, because you might spend hours every single day playing video games, playing Fortnite or whatever game you're playing, but on top of that, video games are designed to hijack your brain's reward system. If you take a look at any video game, it's inspired from real life. In any game, you've got achievements, quests to complete, missions, goals to achieve, but in the real world, it's the same thing, except that all that time that you spend trying to improve a fake character in a fictional world in a video game, it's time that you can't put towards bettering yourself in the real world. Except that when you log off your video game, you're back into the real world, your life is shit, you're miserable, you're broke, you've got nothing. And at the end of the day, the most beautiful game that you could ever play, it's the game of life. If you put in the work relentlessly for months and for years, what's on the other side of hard work is every single thing you've ever ever wanted. So sell your video game console, give it to a friend, uninstall all the video games from your laptop. You're not gonna need it. If you are truly focused on your mission, on making your dreams come true, you won't even have time for it. It won't even cross your mind. I've had people make fun of me because I don't play video games or I don't even watch that many movies. And it's like, well, I don't care. I'm busy building my life. I'm busy achieving. And then these same people, when they see you getting out of a Porsche, when they see you having fun, when they see you living the life, they'll just say that you got lucky. Now, rule number 4 of the dopamine detox is to exercise every single day for at least 35 minutes. I've been exercising on a daily basis for years now. Even whenever I couldn't work out because of injuries, medical reasons, I would still just go for a walk. I'd still do something to get my body moving. I just can't stand the inactivity. There is literally no reason not to exercise. It improves every aspect of your life. It's gonna give you a sharper mind. You'll have more energy. You'll look better. You'll feel better. Every single day I start my day with a workout. And then when I'm back home, it's pretty easy to get into a state of flow and to get my work done. Because when you've just finished an intense workout session, you're sweating, you took your hot and cold shower, then you don't feel like going and scrolling on TikTok or watching Netflix. Instead, I'm ready to conquer. Now moving on to the next rule of the dopamine detox, which is no porn. I've made plenty of videos on my YouTube channel speaking about the negative effects of porn and of excessive sexual stimulation. But to name just a few, you won't be motivated to do the hard things that you need to do to reach your goals, because not only does watching porn or constantly jerking off drain your energy, give you so much dopamine like it's insane in comparison. Eating junk food, watching movies, playing video games, it's nothing, believe me, because procreation is at the center of life. So when you go on that dirty website to do your thing in front of your screen, the amount of dopamine that is released inside of your body is absolutely phenomenal. But let's be honest, after that, how good do you feel? Do you feel proud of yourself? Do you feel like you did something to move forward? Are you ready to go and to hit an intense workout session? To deadlift twice your body weight? To sit down at your desk and to do productive work? Of course not. And on top of that, you are programming yourself to become aroused, watching other people do the thing. You watch people having sex in third-person perspective, but then in real life, you're gonna do it in first-person perspective. Millions of young men every single day watch porn and they jerk off, and they don't realize they're programming their brains to be incapable of having real intimacy with real-world partners. So all in all, there is no reason, dopamine detox or not, to not remove porn from your life. Now, the next rule of the dopamine detox is that if you're gonna be on social media, you only want to use it to watch educational content. If you're watching movie trailers, gameplay videos, or whatever, you're just wasting your time. And every second, every minute that you lose, you will never get it back. You can't expect to get the best things that this world has to offer, to get the life that only 1% will ever get to experience, and at the same time, not be willing to work harder to sacrifice more than 99% of people. A lot of entrepreneurs, they make this mistake. They watch a lot of podcasts, and they think, well, I did something productive. It's a business podcast. But if you watch something, even if it's educational content, business-related content, but you don't apply what you've learned, really, you haven't learned anything. So if you're gonna go and watch educational content, do so with intent. Open up a new Notion tab on your desktop, or use a notepad and a pen and take some notes. And finally, the last dopamine detox rule I'd like to share with you is to optimize your environment for work. It's actually pretty simple. On your desk, you only want to have the things that you absolutely need to use to complete the task at hand. And then when you're working, I highly suggest you use headphones with noise cancelling technology and you listen to binaural beats or white noise, especially if you're in a noisy environment. Maybe you're working, you've got your family in the other room, or let's say you're in an office, your coworkers are just very noisy for some reason. It's gonna help you to actually be able to get into a state of flow because it's gonna block out all noises. If you've got a window or two, open it if necessary, close it if you don't need it. And then of course, you want to have a clean office, a clean desk, because if you've got a messy office, a messy desk, your mind will be messy as well. At the end of the day, life is extremely short, so you can either decide to sit on the sidelines and to watch others get everything you've ever wanted, achieve big things, have the time of their lives, or you can decide to get in the game, no matter what your current circumstances are right now. If you had seen me a couple years ago, you would have never thought, oh, this guy has so much potential, he's gonna achieve something big, he'll make his dreams come true. So that goes to show you, you can change so much within just even a year. But for that, you need to be willing to put in the work and to never give up. So the choice is yours. Are you gonna keep wasting your time? But at the end of the day, the clock is ticking, and at some point, it will be too late for you to do all the things you've always wanted to do. Or are you gonna get started now, even if your circumstances are not perfect? Because guess what? They will never be perfect. Now, if you're a beginner, you'd like some help, you have no idea where to start, I've recorded a free video in which I analyze every popular online business model. Together, we take a look at the pros and the cons. That way you can figure out which one is the best to start for you. If you're interested, I'll leave the link in the description below. And with that said, what are you waiting for? It's time to get back to work.